cool intro anymore, man.
It's not even a cool intro.
I had a really cool
llama party.
Llama party. Come on.
Llama party.
Llama party.
Come on.
Llama party.
Llama
Party. Come on.
Llama party. Llama party.
Doom. Ow. Boom. Now it sounded more Prince. Now
Now you're getting into 80s territory.
Yeah, it went way more. Like I was trying to go Michael, then it went,
All right, so what's your favorite horror movie?
Favorite horror movie? Okay. It's honestly, I'll speak behalf of a lot of melanin colored people. Our favorite horror movie, not counting the Jordan Peele thriller movie, thrillers, is Jason 7, because the black man beat up Jason on top of the tower, top of the building. All right, that is. So
y'all felt represented in that one.
Yo, he swung and he was beating up. Nobody got that best of Jason. If you watch the Friday 13th series, all right, now I get it confused. It could be Friday 13th 6, but I'm pretty sure it's 7. That he was just swinging, blah, blah, blah. And he got tired, and Jason hit him and knocked his head off. Nobody else really get the best. It'll be that. If you count Deep Blue Sea and Anaconda, it'd be them two. Black men survived the end. Or there's one other, yo. Anytime black people get represented in horror movies really well, it's always those. Or it's that one really weird horror movie, but it wasn't a horror movie. It was like homage to all horror movies. And I can't remember. It was really big.
Scary movie?
No. It was homage, not parody. It was really, really like, it was really big. Like, it was like, it was making fun of, but it wasn't really making fun of. It was pointing out how every horror movie was. Like, the guy was like, we have to find a virgin. Where's the virgin? And then, like, they found out, like, these horror, like, signs all happened in there. It was, like, to keep, like, the world going. It was very interesting. I can't remember the name of it. But it was really big when it came out. And only like 2011, 2012. Other than that, then like any Japanese movies are really good. Original Japanese movies are very great.
Was that your controversial take?
No, this is the beginning. Okay. Oh, Saw 1 and 2 are good.
Saw 1, I mean, like, Saw is a good, like, gore.
First two, they got trash.
Yeah.
My controversial take is, out of the whole horror movie genre, there's only 50 good horror movies. The rest are trash. Horror movies are trash. They're a trash genre.
Mostly, yeah.
It's really bad. Like horror, like I love horror movies. There's only 50 good ones. All right, there's not many because horror movies do a ton of sequels and they get so diluted, lose budget, and they're just trashy. They're a parody of themselves.
Yeah, because like whether or not a director wants to admit it or not, like you're creating a canon, right?
Yes.
You're creating a canon for a whole story about this
And
killer, and the longer you prolong this, the more watered down it's going to be.
And it's only so much you can do with horror. Nobody has really, if there's a way to use and do horror movies, there's only so much you can do. But like, there's so much about the money off of that first movie. They just want to repeat the process, and then they become a parody of themselves, or it becomes like an action flick. Yeah. Right? Like horror movies isn't a good genre.
Is there a universe where Fast and Furious and horror movies meet up? Maybe.
We're in it.
We're in it right now.
What do you think happens after they go to space? Alien versus Predator versus Vin. Right? The Fast and the Alien, the Furious and the Predator, bro.
I hate that you're right.
Right? Like that's where it's gonna go, right? You're gonna see Tyrese. It's gonna be like, it's coming out of my chest.
He's gonna be a little bitch about it.
You're gonna just see The Rock just throw over the Predator's arm right there and just right there and lay down smack that. It's gonna be the greatest thing, right?
I love how like everything we talk about on this podcast, like it's circled back around.
It just circles back around, right? It's gonna be a scene. The Predator's gonna chase, and like Vin Diesel's gonna start up the car. It's like, it's chasing us. Don't worry. I know my car.
And then it's going to break. It's going to break, and then Predator's going to be in the hood like, you're one ugly son of a bitch.
No, it's something going to happen where he has to like turn it on, turn it back off, and then he's going to turn on, hit nitrous, and jump over this abnormally long cliff and make it.
That's going to be the ultimate horror movie.
Right.
It's
like,
Fast and Furious in space.
Yeah.
2.
Yes.
2. Because the first one has to be normal, right?
Yeah, the first one, it just has to be space, but then you lead, like, it's going to be alien. That's when they're going to chase it. team with Jason Statham and The Rock and all them, right? We make it some Roman Reigns or whatever else. Whoever else they want to add, maybe Batista. You never know.
Yeah, it's some wrestler.
Some wrestler, you know,
Maybe
you're
a
going to
wrestler.
add, you know, Vin, you know, we need a better team, right? We need more family, right? And so Vin now grabs everybody he's ever raced in his whole entire life, all across the world, right? And is going to join, and they're all going to be in astronaut suits that also look like NASCAR suits, and that's how they go, right?
Is this where it fuses into Among Us?
This is right, because somebody's going to have the alien inside of them, and you got to figure out which one.
Yeah,
You know?
totally.
But yeah, horror movies are trash. And
Mostly, yes.
mostly, no, horror movie genre is like, here's the thing. There's probably like 1,000 horror movies, right? Easily to say. About 1,000. A lot of it. 500. Right? Only 50 of them are decent. That's a trash genre.
What do
all
you
right?
consider decent?
What do I consider decent? Probably most of the first movie. Decent is like if you can rewatch it, or you have a very fond memory, like when you have a fond memory, it can be like of a parody memory, right? Has to be something like, oh man, I remember that chill or whatever else, right? And it's rewatchable. That's good. That's story grabbing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I like most of the Chainsaw Massacres. That's like my big deal.
That's a genre where, you know, they don't do sequels of it, they remake it, and that's a difference, right?
Yeah. There are a lot of sequels. Like the first 4 were sequels.
No, they were spread out in between because it wasn't the first.
like-
It wasn't the original one. Wasn't a sequel. It was later they started doing the sequels.
Yeah,
in the
like
80s and
the
90s.
first one was the Chainsaw Massacre,
Yes.
right? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then the second one was a sequel. It was like it was one of those horror movies that was B-rated, and it was like intentionally supposed to be kind of funny.
But that's horror genre.
Yeah,
that's the horror.
yeah, you get what
That's
I'm
my
saying?
point.
And then the third one, what was the third one? That was like the Saw His Family chainsaw thing, I think. And then the fourth one was Leatherface cross-dressing as a woman. And then they started the remakes after that.
See,
and the remake was awesome. Like the one with the old military guy, I can't remember his name, like from the History Channel, like that guy, like that was
but
awesome.
you see, when it comes like I said, the Jason only because like the funny, like the black guy did it, and I can say other horror movies because the black guy made it, but like these horror movies aren't actually good because all the genre horror movie typically the first 1 or 2 is going to be the best one. The rest of them will just be trash. Like Nightmare on Elm Street isn't really good. You like Freddy because you like that character. That kind of started the whole Joker-esque crazy drinking, like the crazy joking evil character that we all care to enjoy now. Like, which is like a parody of the Joker character from Batman. You can even go so far. It's the Rick Sanchez of Rick and Morty, right? Like, he's too smart. That started that whole thing, right? Like a villain-esque type character.
Yeah.
But you don't like the Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't know what could be scarier than Scary Terry.
Bitch. Right? Like, like Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th is an interesting one because, like, the first 2 movies out of that genre, Jason isn't the villain. The first movie, he wasn't the villain. Yeah. And another movie, he wasn't the villain. There was just a murderer guy that using his name of it. Right? And that was them trying to be different, but it's like, overall, it's kind of trash. Like, horror movies are really trash. And like, everybody's like, and this is why it's like a hot take. Because everybody's like, I love it, right? Like, that was the whole scene. Every chick, like, I love blood and gore. Like, no, you have problems. Right?
Yeah.
You want to be like cool or whatever else. It's trash, right? Horror movies are trash. Halloween is trash. October's trash. Fall season's trash. I'm sorry. It's very overrated, right? Maybe because we're in the 80s, 90s, and going forward, you know, we felt like we're so edited and kept from like curse words in movies, and that's why people like horror movies because you knew you get to see boobs and you got fuck, right? Like you got that curse word and you got blood. Yeah. So you got everything you wanted to see as a kid. And it kind of carries over as that nostalgia, but in all, it kind of sucks.
Because as a kid, dude, like, Children of the Corn scared the fuck out of me, dude.
Okay, there you go. Oh, we can name Silence of the Lamb. We can name what was the one with wait, did you name that one? The one with Jack Nicholson?
Did I?
What was the one with Jack Nicholson? He's just like, here's Johnny.
One sec. Keep talking.
Right, the one with and you got the little kids and the blood coming down the hotel and the two twins and the what is it? Which is what the Stephen King's movies. He probably did horror really well, but like once again, was it horror or was it really thriller? Because like he had a lot of stuff like that one movie had where the chicks breaks this guy's legs and he's a writer, but he's technically writing about his own story. He needs to escape, and she's just crazy about him, but she wants to keep him there. She broke his legs, but he didn't know that at first. Like these things are really scary, but are they considered Shining, right?
Shining.
Like, are these things scary? Like movie. Like these are like certainly like Get Out. Like was Get Out really a scary movie? Like it was very eerie, right? Mm-hmm. Like thriller, like Us, like these things, are they really like when we think of horror, all these other things, we think of like weird, kind of like weird plot twists, but all blood and all this other stuff. That's why I love Saw. The first Saw was really well did, because at the end, like that dead body the whole time was the guy.
Yeah.
Like so perfectly executed, right? Like he planned it out. You get a very villain, but then you get one of them. I'm trying to think. Was it Amityville Horror or Conjuring? One of them were really good. Or maybe both of those. The Conjuring one and Amityville Horror was really like good, where you get the ghost type of thing and you can't defeat it, and you got to recite something from the Bible or something like that and defeat it. Or Insidious, or you got to get like an exorcism and you go into the other world, right? Those things, but you can't do much with it. And I think it's such a cash grab, and it just nukes itself, right? And that's the thing, like. And don't get me wrong, like, they're doing it with comic book movies. How many times we're going to see Spider-Man a bajillion? But we can do that with superheroes, right? Yeah. Because it's hero-based. It's not, like, villain-based.
Yeah.
If we kept, like...
Well, that's the problem with anything, really. Like, if you have a really good original idea, the temptation is going to be there. Like, if it hits hot the first time and you have a lot of success with it and you're making tons of money, like, the temptation is going to be there as a creative person to be like, well, I'll just go back to that honey hole. Like, I'll hit that again, make some more money.
You said that with anime.
Yeah, like everything else.
Movies, but like, I don't know, like, I'm still like, we talk about Fast and Furious, like, we're still going to watch it, right? Like, so it's not lost mystique, but like, if they announce like a Friday 13th, like, here we go again, oh God, right? Like, are we really interested? That's what makes it such a trash thing. Like,
the last Chainsaw Massacre movie I saw was Texas Chainsaw, which is maybe 2013, 2014, something around there. And it was so bad, I left before the ending of it.
You see my point?
Yeah, it was so bad.
And now, like, when we...
okay, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but, like, the girl, the main protagonist chick in the movie, finds out that Leatherface is her, like, biological cousin. And he's being mistreated by these people or whatever. In the end, Leatherface does a face turn and turns on the family that was abusing him or whatever. And they're in like this cattle processing plant, and the chick like throws him his chainsaw when he's about to be grinded up by the meat grinder. He's like, "Here, cuz," and I was like, "Fuck you! I'm done. I'm out."
Right? Now you made the villain like this horrific person.
Yeah.
Now is the good guy, and like no,
we're not doing that.
And here's the thing with like all right, so a lot of horror movies go to action or comedy. I don't know if you knew this. So there was a Dracula movie, and there was a Mummy movie. They remade the Mummy. Did you know this? With I don't even like this actor. Right? Also, I guess he's a hot take. I think he's really trash. What's the crazy guy that was about? He was about that one crazy religion about Scientology. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
Tom Cruise did a Mummy remake, right? The end of the Mummy remake, you get I'm going to butcher this name. I want to say Clive Owen, whatever else. They were going to do an Avengers version of horror movie stuff and bring it all together.
What?
Yes, but it bombed so bad. And they already had a Dracula movie. So they're going to do an action type of horror movie universe. They're going to do a horror movie universe thing. And he already had and I don't know if it was going to be with it, but he already had video games talking about a Mortal Kombat version of horror movie stuff. This is like, you can look all this stuff up. Like, this was legit in plan because a lot of horror movie people were already in Mortal Kombat, and this was the ease into their own Mortal Kombat-esque game where you can be gory and it's just horror movie people fighting.
All right, so whenever you mentioned that there was a Mummy remake with Tom Cruise, I Googled it right quick, and it's so absurd. He's not any kind of character. He's just Tom Cruise in a movie about mummies.
Yeah. Like, and this was like the legit plan. Like they were like gonna combine all these things, and like that's not even nothing to do with horror. And the mummy, and it's not like Brendan Fraser's a great actor, all right, and his mummy
God
movies is
rest
different.
his soul.
He's still alive.
Is he?
Yo, chill, chill. He's in a show. You're not gonna watch it. It's based on comic books, but it's called. It's actually on HBO if you have it. It's called. Now I forgot the name of it, but it's a good show. And he plays this NASCAR driver that got his body. It's a comic book thing. He plays this NASCAR driver that loses his body, so they put his brain in a robot. And so he has this NASCAR driver mindset from the 80s. As in, like, he was cheating on his wife, he curses all the time, and he just likes porn. So he's really like hick. It's Brendan Fraser nails this concept, right?
I mean, it's pretty.
And this guy's like, I'm a robot. I can't feel anything. I can't fuck. It's so good, right?
That's wonderful.
Right. Oh, Doom Patrol. It's called Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol. It's based off of comic books. It's actually the original X-Men.
Oh.
It was actually,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's on HBO. It's a great show. You know, but yeah, Brendan Fraser's still in. But like, The Mummy is Brendan Fraser. Remember they did one where they went to this mummy in like China and it had Jet Li as the mummy, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you're just like, we're just gonna make a mummy villain famous, like The Rock, or now it's Jet Li, and like, what is stop? And they're like, no, Tom Cruise, hear me out. And you're like, no,
stop,
legit stop, right?
You know what a movie is that like haunted the shit out of me whenever I was a kid?
What?
The Leprechaun.
Once again, a genre that got real trash. I don't know if you ever saw Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny. I rented it maybe when I was like 13 or 14.
Once again, first Leprechaun, you're like, man, this is scary. This guy's unbelievable. He's
the
unbeatable.
First two, like, really, they're
Then they did Leprechaun in the Hood, and I was like, what is this racist trash? like, honestly, like that, honestly, like it's racist trash.
Yeah.
I remember the first part, I watched it on BET, and it was like, what's up, my ninja? And I was like, oh, this must be bleep. Then I watched it, like, without BET. I'm like, oh, they really said ninja. This is trash. This is straight garbage. Like, we start off the sequence for white people to find a different word. I
being like 13 or 14, and I rented it from the video store here in town, and just laughed and laughed and laughed.
It's a parody of itself.
Yeah, it was a parody of itself. That's exactly
Same thing with
correct.
Remember, what was it? Bride of Chucky? Parody of itself.
Yeah.
Where Jennifer Tilly, what's her name? Is it Jennifer Tilly? The one chick that was the Bride of Chucky, like the actual actress, fun as hell. That was the only thing. I was like, all right, what you got? And then I was like, oh, Bride of Chucky, and he had, what was his, like, his son shit face? What was it? Whatever. It was so dumb. It's a parody, and it's like, I remember going to theaters thinking I was gonna laugh. It had Redman in it. I thought I was gonna enjoy myself. No.
Just an awful movie.
Just awful, bro. Like, really just awful. Like, horror movies is really trash, and people like it. It's like you're hanging on to this nostalgia because you couldn't see cursing or blood and gore or tits in a movie, but horror movies you could. And you knew that was a genre. You can get away and you get your little thrills as a kid. It's really a trash genre. Always has been, right? Don't be wrong. The first one is usually great. Like, Insidious, we didn't need all that. Like, you actually got really good jump scares. You didn't need gore. You didn't need everything else, right?
That's, now that you're saying it, pretty universally true. Like, Paranormal Activity, the first one was great. And then everyone following that was just garbage.
Yes, it was garbage. Hostels kind of stayed. They had had a good concept going. Mm-hmm. The Hostel and everything else. Hostel, I don't know if you've ever been to a hostel, I was scared of hostels just in general. Like, I've went to a hostel and I was like, never again. It's bothersome. I can't trust these people, right?
Is that because of the movie, or
no? Just because, like, you kind of got to trust this other person won't steal your shit.
Yeah.
Right. But like, in certain concepts, like, you can probably do a horror concept. I'm trying to think. Like, Japan doesn't really do multiple, like, sequels like that, right? They have a concept and then America grabs it and runs it into the ground. Yep. Like The Ring or anything else, you know. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really good with a one of. How do you keep going? Like, how do you bring it? Like, if there's a way you can do a sequel-esque thing with horror movies and keep it horror, we haven't found it yet. No. Until then, it's a really trash concept. Action movies, you can do a bajillion. As long as you like that action hero, you can do a bajillion of them, right?
Yeah, dude, because it's like the DBZ thing.
Yes.
It's like the same formula over and over again. But you can't do that with a horror movie.
This is why Fast and Furious picks up more money now than what they did originally. Yeah. Right? Like, you can just keep going. Like, Fast and Furious was still technically an action movie in the beginning. It's just more action.
Like, everyone knows the formula. Mm-hmm. They know what they're getting into whenever they buy it.
Yeah.
Or go to see it, whatever. And they profit off of that.
Horror
Horror's not the same thing.
Horror's not a good genre, but it's a good way to add elements to like certain things, like a really like scary scene for certain stuff. Now I'll give in. Here's the thing: what was interesting. What's the show? American Horror Story, right? It's a TV show. Use the same actors technically, and each season's a different like scary concept, right? It's kind of cool, but one thing you learn if you watch a series, I don't know if you ever watched a series. I watched a few seasons. Is when it comes to horror movies, usually involves a lot of sex, right? Like, and that's the thing. When it comes to crime, murder and rape, sex, blood, nudity, these are the concepts that make horror, right? This is what makes things scary. So every season kind of has it.
Because everyone gets off on violence and no one wants to talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. And we do, and the thing you have like, every season is a different concept, right? Like they did the original one was the scary house, right? Then you have the cult. One of them was like the scary circus, but it was bad because only one thing was actually paranormal about it. Really was more of a murder mystery, and it was really trash season, right? It was really it's probably the worst season was the circus season. Right, and it's just like it kind of loses its way, and I've noticed when you look at numbers, it's kind of losing it. And they try to do one where we're blending two seasons together, right? Like you're already hitting on your 8th season, you're already trying to hit that nostalgia from the first two seasons.
They're on death stroke, but they're trying to prolong it as long as possible.
You're trying to prolong, right? And another thing, like cringe and eerie is part of like the horror.
Yeah.
Right, like things that make us like we watch horror movies because it gives us an uncomfortable feeling we're not used to.
Well, I mean, it's just like anything else, I think once you see a certain amount of something, even if it's an extreme thing, you get kind of neutral to it, and you kind of constantly need them to push the envelope.
Well, yeah, that's why Fast and Furious is in space.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But where are they going to push it to, right? Like, you see a person die a couple times, you stop being sad about it.
That's true. Now, one thing I'll say, horror anime, no. I don't know if you ever watched like a horror movie anime.
Okay. Is that like Goblin Hunter?
No, it had that one rape scene and everybody was like, Goblin Slayer, right? It had that one scene everybody was like overhyped on it. Right? One what was like really like next level, like, oh my god, shit, is let me see, what's the name? Blood C minus is wild, like gory, crazy. I think it's called Another. I'm butchering these names, trying to think of all these like horror. Like there's some horror ones, and you're just like shit, Because in animation, you can just kind of like you can just go all out and crazy. And I feel like Japan, if you ever just dived into just what's it called, like these old stories, the old like horror type of stories in Japan. Have you ever just like read these?
Idea.
You would love them. You personally would love them, like just reading these crazy Japanese stories of everything else, because they're in all through Japan. Like even Pokemon have horrific stories. Like a lot of people don't know, Drowsy is a fucking rapist.
Yeah.
The Pokemon Drowsy rapes kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm sorry if you like Drowsy. Kind of weird if you like Drowsy because he looked like a rapist. But
there's a lot of shit in the first gen lore that's really unsettling.
It still goes further. Like a lot of Pokemon, like a lot of people find cool. Like they kill kids. A lot of Pokemon murders kids. Like Japan has that tree of people hanging themselves. That has the stories to it.
That's a whole ass forest, dude.
Yeah, like so there's levels to like horror, and I feel like America just doesn't do horror right, man. It doesn't do it where like it keeps you in. Like we don't have that many like stories. Like we have the Amityville horror or the Doll.
It seems to be very like surface level.
Very surface level.
It's like just murderers and shit like that. There's no story.
Yeah, you were an edgy white kid with a scene phase and god phase, right? Like, so you went to the vampire graveyard or the other spot graveyards.
We went to the Witch's Tabernacle once.
There you go. Like these things, right? Yeah. That you want to see something paranormal, you want to see ghosts.
We tried to do a Ouija board one time. We did all the shit on the internet that you're not supposed to do. We went to a graveyard and did it.
Edgy white kids.
Because, the internet said that there's some occult website we found said you don't do that shit in a graveyard because the spirits there will follow you home. Mm-hmm. But we did it anyways. We were like, fuck it. Let them follow us. Who cares? And then we came back to my driveway here, and we did it again. And we're just all sitting out there like idiots, all of our hands on the piece because none of us are dishonest enough
to push it for
to
you.
push it in some direction. We're just sitting there and it's in the middle like, well, all right, I guess we're waiting on the spirits, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah, like you want to dive into it, or
Yeah.
and see that's the thing. Like I've seen weird stuff, but like I haven't. It's not like it's just overhype of it, right? Like it's not, And most of the time, like what was it? One that was really horror movie. It wasn't that great of a movie, but it really makes you think. Like, wow. Have you ever seen Gothica with Halle Berry?
No.
Halle Berry gets taken over by this ghost, right? And makes her do something. She's like, what do you want? This ghost was raped and killed in jail by the guard. And she pretty much just had a chance to take over Halle Berry and was like making her relive these memories and was like, help me get revenge on this crooked police. He rapes people. Mm-hmm. Right? But it was like the ghost, and that was a cool spin because the ghost wasn't really the bad, because she was like, why are you putting me in jail? Why are you doing this? Like, no, the ghost is like helping you, trying to use you to help stop this policeman doing all this other shit, right?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Right? I don't know how great that movie really was. Now looking at it, like, I kind of remember wanting to watch it. I just thought that's a cool concept.
Yeah.
And like Japan, I remember they had this one, or I say Japan, probably Korea, a movie, I think, had this one movie where this guy, like, he was trying to move on. His girlfriend died or whatever else, and he was having neck problems. And all this weird stuff started happening to him. Well, his girlfriend was so in love with him and he cheated on her. And like it was like his girlfriend was literally on top of him. The only way they could see is taking pictures. And then at the end of the movie, they took a picture of him, and his neck was all the way like this. And we're like, what's wrong with his neck? His girlfriend was literally sitting on top of him as a ghost and wouldn't let him go. And it was like pretty much she was just like, you're gonna be with me because she manipulated him.
Christ.
Right? And there's like
white girls are so crazy.
And then there's like other things that goes in the eerie. Like one movie I like, Martin Lawrence, loved the thin line between love and hate. Martin Lawrence is a player, and he pretty much drives his girl kind of crazy because she likes him, but she kind of thinks he's cheating. Instead of letting him go, she acts really crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And just like, and he's completely the bad guy in this movie because he's cheating on a woman, pretty much making her like gaslighting, all these things, and she's just gonna stay with him, right? And that was kind of like horror-esque.
Where do I find one of those?
What? Oh, they're all over. You say that. You say that. All right. No. What ladies. He wants a Die Hard, right?
A Die Hard.
Die Hard.
I need that Donald Trump fandom where I can be a complete piece of shit and you're still about me.
Well, there are a lot of them around here. What are you talking about? This is the area that you get them. But like, I don't know. Like there's elements. Like there's stories that could, but haven't seen good execution. And really, I don't think good directors go for horror.
No.
Right?
No, good directors want like the meaningful film.
And if they do go for horror, they're like they bounce in and out, right? Like, they do a little bit, I got notoriety, whatever, sell the rights. I'm all doing good movies now, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing comic book movies, or I'm doing stuff that get Academy Awards. All right, that's where actual good stuff. Like I'm trying to think like something that was really scary or whatever else, but it's not.
As an adult, there's nothing that's really scary. There are things that have made me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like Last House on the Left, there was that rape scene, and that made me really uncomfortable.
If you have faith to any type of religious type of thing, you can get scared because there's a certain sense.
Diablo.
Yeah, there's a sense of like a thing like it can happen, and I think that's what scares people when they watch like certain horror movies. Like they freak out. Like anytime.
The Omen, dude.
Yeah, things like that.
The remake that came out on 6606.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was on a senior.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
At my like religious ass high school, and a bunch of us left to go to
the
watch theaters to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's different. I don't know. It's just I would like to see. There's just certain concepts I like to see like. But it's hard. I don't know. Like it's trash, right? I always tell people, October's trash, Halloween is trash, and it's like these are overrated holidays that aren't really good. We want it to be so good because our life is dull. As Americans, we don't accept how good our life is, so we latch on to Halloween. That's why you see just 300 days to Halloween. You're boring as a person, and it's clear. You made that status, and it's clear you're boring.
Damn, you just undercut every white girl in America.
She knows she's boring because she wears Uggs and drinks pumpkin spice. Bro, fall season is very overrated and trash, bro.
I like fall, but it's for different reasons. I just like the cooler weather.
Yeah, you like the cooler weather, but it's really like very overhyped. There's not much to really do. It's not fun. It's really, people don't really enjoy it. Like, and people say, like, no, I do. How dare you? Like, no, you don't. I can't wait to trick or treat. You're grown. What are
You're
you?
grown.
And like everybody's like, oh, you're just mad. You should. No, I'm a 30-year-old man. If I said I like to trick or treat, you should think I'm a pedophile. Like, no, there's no reason I should ever like right there. If when I have kids, sure, right, gives them. I can spend money on a trash costume, or if they're a baby. Look, he looks so cute as a murderer. Wow, you put a butcher knife and a gun in your kid's hand. Like,
I'm just trying to fucking Halloween costumes is all I'm trying to do.
but you can do that any time of year.
You're right, but it's...
I'm gonna throw this out there. I shouldn't throw it out there. There is a Twitter of this man that is a clown costume, and he smashes women, but he doesn't just smash them, bro. He was on top of a diesel truck in the middle of the day smashing this chick, and I was just like, you just doing the most. You already got this clown costume, but you on top of this. It was bright as day, and I was like, bro.
He didn't care.
He didn't care. I was like, yo. I don't know his Twitter handle, or maybe I do. I'm not gonna say it. Search for him. That is just fun. It's funny, right?
Any pointer? Like, I know you can't like drop the actual handle, but any like hints to give people to look for?
A clown smashing? I don't know how you can't just type up random porn words with clown in it and not find it. Be real with you.
Clown, BBC, Pog.
Well, yeah, probably Pog. Like,
Pog.
You know, Ebony, interracial. I don't know. You know. Whatever, you know, just...
This is a white guy or a black guy?
Huh? He's in a clown suit. I don't know.
Oh, so he's like
no, full decked out.
You can't see shit.
No, man. I don't know. Like, I don't even see... Like, every clip I've ever seen, he's already taken to Pound Town. Like, so the whole...
Pennywise is just getting it, dude.
Bro, already, like, he's full suit, full bozo suit, bro. It's incredible, man.
I love how he like started on horror movies. Is like this dude dresses as a clown and plows chicks.
That's how horror, but that's the horror movie genre. We talk about it long enough, we go there.
Yeah,
that's.
It involves a certain amount of sexuality.
It does. It does. You know, I mean, that's the thing, and that's probably because like America lacks this.
I think it's just because like as humans, like violence is in our genetic code, and we try to suppress it.
But that's what I'm saying. That's because America's really bad about it. Like, don't get me wrong, Australia's also bad. There's other spots that's bad. But, you know, we're pretty bad about it. What was the one horror movie? It was cool. It was the interactive horror movie based off of a very interesting show concept. Black Mirror? The Black Mirror movie. Yeah. That's a very interesting. It has that Twilight Zone feel. And I will like Twilight Zone, just like Tales from the Crypt, have multiple stories.
Oh, that fucking guy.
And that's the thing, like, if you do different story, different characters, everything else, you know, you can keep it fresh, but not the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? One thing I remember, what was it? Tales from the Hood had good concept ideas, but once again, it was very cheesy execution. Not all of it was cheesy. There was some really, if you ever seen Tales from the Hood, you know, as a kid, it's still scary. Like, some things is just like, that's creepy, bro.
Yeah.
They did Tales from the Hood 2, came out like last year. Trash.
Yeah.
You know, it's trash.
It's hard to recreate lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see, and this is gonna be hard for me to say because like he's dead and he's great. Was it We Live?
Who?
The one with Roddy Piper. You know, They Live.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the one where he's like,
I'm a horrible wrestling fan.
It's the one with he's like, I'm all out of bubble gum.
Hold on.
I must be have a lot of memory of. I'm running out of time quick.
We're both. You're on your phone.
No, you just talk. I'll suggest it real quick.
How much time you got?
Not much. I'll just real quick.
Roddy.
Just keep talking. Roddy Piper. They Live.
I'm all out of bubble gum. I'm Jamie in this shit right now for anyone listening.
Pull up, Johnny. That's what I gotta call you.
Johnny. I'm Johnny.
Pull it up, Johnny. Pull it on the screen.
Pull that shit up, Johnny. They Live. Yeah, that's the name of it.
That They Live.
No, you were right.
That's that. You know. Hang on, I'm gonna run out of time. That. You know. I give it to that one's really dope. You know.
I didn't even realize that was a horror movie, to be honest with you.
Wow, you thought it was more action?
Yeah. I've never seen it, but I assumed because Roddy Piper was in it, it was just like an action movie. Because that was like the go-to for 80s wrestlers.
I mean, that's fair. That is very fair. I can't find
What's your problem, son?
memory. I thought I cleared all my memory off. Okay, it's not. Keep it rolling. I'll find it.
All right. Tales from the Crypt was an interesting one for me whenever I was a kid. That was real scary.
Twilight Zone's cool.
I never got into it. Like, I never watched Twilight Zone when I was a kid. Leprechaun was a big one. Children of the Corn was a big one. Of course, the Chainsaw Massacre, because, like, I believe that shit hook, line, and sinker, right? Wow. Like, my cousin who exposed me to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre whenever I was a kid told me, like, you know, because at the beginning of the movie, they're like, this is based on a true story or whatever.
Yeah.
He sold it like, oh, yeah, they never got caught. They're still in Northeast Texas.
Oh, really?
So I was, like, super freaked out about that shit.
Oh, so
I was constantly worried that Leatherface was coming after me or whatever. Come to find out later on, it's based on a true story in, like, the same way that, like, Halloween and Hellraiser is based on a true story. Because it's all based on Ed Gein. Like, Ed Gein influenced all this. And, like, for anyone who doesn't know Ed Gein, he was like a farmer in the early 1900s, somewhere in rural America, that had a weird attachment to his mother. She died, and he went fucking crazy and started, like, grave robbing. And he would, like, walk around his property in a skin suit made out of corpse meat.
Didn't Texarkana have one based off a clown? Or is that just
the
a guy with a...
dreaded sundown was Texarkana.
Oh, okay.
That was just a serial killer that never got caught.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the legend of Bogey Creek, but we already talked about that.
The racist monster.
The racist monster.
The white supremacist monster. But yeah, like horror movies just ain't got much they can do, right? That's the whole...
Yeah. I mean, once you start talking about, like, raping and mutilating people, like, where do you go from there?
I mean, you have to catch them eventually. It'd be cool if you can do a Jack the Ripper type of thing.
You know what we need to mention?
What?
Fucking Rob Zombie's movies. House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, because that was, like, to me, a refreshing-ass update on horror movies. And it was weird in a way that, like, it actually made you root for the villains.
I think, see, the thing what I heard about, like, Rob Zombie stuff is, like, people, I always hear mixed reviews on it, right? But I liked kind of where it went, but it just felt like, I didn't see the latest one or whatever else, but it felt like it was going in a certain direction where it's, you know, it really walked the line. One of them wasn't as good, right? Like, it was really kind of cheesy, and I don't know if he was paying homage or whatever.
House of a Thousand Corpses, to me, was not as good as Devil's Rejects.
Yes. That was the one where they get caught or whatever, right? And they're at the end where they're driving.
No, Devil's Rejects is where they get caught.
That's what I'm talking about. House of a Thousand Corpses, kind of cheesy on parts.
Yeah. But then the Devil's Rejects, just like the three of them.
And they're driving around and stuff.
Yeah.
Fun fact, tell you this fun story. So you remember the hotel scene with it? And they got the woman in there and they strip her.
Tell you what, Hoss, my gun still smells like your wife's pussy.
So I'm doing one of my conventions, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say her name. If you know who actress I'm talking about, because she did other stuff in the '80s. So I'm driving a vehicle, SUV, and she's like leaning over my seat talking to me. It's real weird. And she's like, "You see myself?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a fan of yours, right? Like I've seen all this stuff." She's like, "You know, I was naked in there," and I'm like, "Very aware. I still look like that." Duly noted.
And you didn't take advantage?
And just laying down on me, bro. And no, because like I'm like professional, right? Like I won't drink or anything. Like I won't drink, smoke, or whatever else. And we was in like Colorado and everything else. And this is how professional. I smoked and drank only because they passed it to me. Because they were like, "Hey, somebody got to finish this. Give it to this guy," right? Like,
yeah.
But I gotta like make sure, like, oh, smoke off the blunt. We're done. Well, drink it up right there, you know. And then walk, normal. And, like, she is, like, I already, when you say, my boobs are out right then, I'm just like, I know, man.
I saw the movie.
It's funny. It was that old wrestler guy was there, too. They were showing, when they showed the doc, he was sitting in the crowd. He was there, too. And he's, like, looking at me laughing because she is, like, laying it. Like, I'm talking about the things she was saying to me and just, like, oh, so you really enjoy it? And, like, I'm just trying to be, I'm not trying to boost her ego, kind of where it's going. But she is really eating everything up, and I'm not saying much. I'm like, yeah, you're real nice, Yeah, you really did real well and everything else. You'll ever wonder what it smelled like? And I'm just like, oh, my God.
Whoa,
right? Because that from that line.
I've never ever had a woman come on that strong ever in any situation.
Right. I'm gonna stop talking about it so God forbid this ever gets too far where they'll be like, I never said that.
I never said that.
And they're like, okay, you know what? Put it off me. I just be lying. I'm not saying I'm smashed. I'm just saying
this happened.
This happened. And like, never mind. That's not the only like they be, bro. These any chick that's from a certain era, bro. They be just.
There was that one anime related chick at your last one that was putting off mad horny vibes.
Remember, I showed you. I showed you a screenshot of like I'll be like she be down. Did you just look at that? I thought they was I'm like, bro, they be. Oh my god, I stay a certain level of professional. I can't break this professionalism. I'm like it's weird because nobody ever sees me professional. So nobody ever sees me work. Right, that's the mystique about me. I'm so uber professional because there's so many times I could have did so much crazy stuff.
Every time I've ever seen you at like a Comic-Con, you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off.
Yeah, that's how it works.
All over the place.
Right. Just trying to catch my breath, hide somewhere, laugh, then I got to go back to work. But yeah, that was so bizarre. And I'm just thinking about that scene, and the image pops in my head. She knows the image pops in my head, and I'm just like, okay, destination, we're here, Very weird.
Oh, it makes me happy that you had that experience, though.
It was real weird. It's like, and like everybody's always, why didn't you do it? And it's just like, bro, I got to be real professional because that's the thing. Like, I don't know how it's going to turn out.
You could end up in a Me Too story.
It could be one Me Too story, or it could be one of them things where I don't get much sleep when you work at Comic-Con. You don't get much sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know how active this woman is, and I like sleep when I'm working.
Yeah.
And I don't get much. I get a few hours. I don't know if this is going to be a few hours.
Oh, no, you're a sleeper, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
This man...
Well, no, sleeper is different. Like, I clock out when it's time.
He'll just be chilling with you, and you'll be talking to him, having an intense conversation. He's just like, done.
Also, I don't sleep, but I go days without sleeping. If I'm working, I'm probably going days without sleeping. Yeah. But when I chill with you guys, I can finally clock out. My body's like, rest. You're tuning out. And I'll be like, oh, I'm back. What's up? So I don't know.
Yeah, you only sleep for 4 or 5 hours.
Right? Like, I'm talking about I can be full on into it and I can be out. Like, some women here got mad because they caught me snoring. Body's still going. It's just like, I got to tune out, bro.
Yep.
Right? I'm in it and they just be like, is he sleeping? How is this happening? Like, man, this is how I work, bro. I'm a professional.
I'll collapse when I collapse.
Right? Yeah.
Until then, I'm all yours.
I go to airplane mode and let the rest happen, bro. I'll just tune it out.
All right. So, in summary, the horror movie genre is trash.
It's trash, bro.
Pennywise is trash. I really never liked it at all. What about you?
It was cool. And that's the thing with it. It's cool when there were kids. When it gets to the adults, the whole series goes to shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But once again, you keep doing it. You only so much you can do on certain parts of the story. Stephen King is great with horror stuff. He has very eerie books, eerie stories. It's great, But there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
They're talking about doing a Shining remake. I doubt it's going to be good.
Yeah, I bet it won't be.
Yeah, this is going to ruin.
Honestly. This is
no, not even a remake. It's a sequel because they're saying Jack Nicholson's going to be in it's going to be the Hotel Collector dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Honestly, Slipknot's video for "Spit It Out," which is based on The Shining, is better than The Shining in my opinion.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Jordan Peele seems like he does well. He didn't do a Get Out 2. He didn't do Us 2. So he knows kind of boom right here. I seen his stuff he did with the Twilight Zone. He seemed like he has good. I'm ready to see the Candyman remake. So he seemed like he knows what he's doing with these things. Candyman's a very weird concept movie. Very scary. But they did one. You need to see a Candyman a billion. You need to see Candyman 6.
Candyman.
Right, Candyman. Oh my God. That's how it would be after you do Candyman 7. Candyman. You just change a little bit of the title.
It's an army of Candyman.
Right? When they were tired of doing Jasons, instead of doing Jason 10, they did Jason X. He were in space. And you're like, why? Why is Jason in space?
Why are we in space right now?
Right? And that's the go-to, right? Every time we're going to go to space.
I don't know, dog.
So we'll see. We'll see all that,
Any closing thoughts?
I mean, I just bashed their whole genre.
You did just bash the whole genre.
With facts.
All right, all you white girls out there, you pumpkin spice loving creatures, Jesse does not approve of your holiday.
Lady, know it's trash. We can talk about Halloween next time.
Talk about Halloween as a holiday?
Yeah, we can talk about Halloween.
All right. Well, I was hoping for something more interesting, but we'll see how my
Well,
research
if we're with Zaylen, we have our first guest.
yeah.
We'll talk about.
By the way, we're gonna live stream next week, so look out for that. We're gonna Facebook live stream. We'll take your questions as they come in. We're gonna have some free conversation amongst ourselves also, but we will be open to some questions if your questions are good. So ask good questions. Don't be asking some bullshit because that's gonna get looked over.
It will.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.